breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty. Mornings on 1017 FM and 710 KEEL.
.1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Mike Martindale, Aaron McCarty, and on the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker Hotline, Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry joining us. Governor, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule for little old us. Exciting news. You've introduced tax reform for the state of Louisiana. What is that going to mean for average citizens? And by average citizens, I mean me.
And me.
Yeah, and Aaron and Ruben.
Oh, I love Aaron, my gal. I'm so glad. And listen, I don't want to come on when I just have to deal with Ruben. I want you to know.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. No, I get it.
No. I'm going to tell you what this means. This means more money in every person's pocket in Louisiana. That's what this means. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you
even poor people, you're here in the Democratic caucus.
Caucus.
Yes. And here's the problem with the Democrat caucus. We have, over the last 8 years, practically doubled state spending, right? Mm-hmm. And how many people have been raised out of poverty? All that government spending.
Yeah,
I would submit to you none. Our statistics are still the same. Okay, we just shuffling chairs around the Titanic. This package, okay, will represent the biggest tax change if we can do it. If we can get the legislators to vote on it and the people to approve it in March, it'll be the largest tax change in our state since 1974, and it can't come fast enough. The tax foundation, which is the litmus test for economic prosperity and growth, says that if enacted, as it stands today, takes us from the bottom 10 to the top 10. How you like that? Mm-hmm. I mean, just think about that. Americans for Tax Reform praised it. AFT praised it. It has something for everyone. And it puts us in a place where we can quit all these fits and stops and fights so we can start to stabilize our budget process. We can streamline our budget. We can start prioritizing our needs. And the most important thing is it starts to create an unbelievable opportunity for economic growth, which my message to the Democrats is that's how you lift people out of poverty.
But will Gail Benson pay 3% and little old me will pay 3%? Everybody's going to pay the same 3%, right? If you're a millionaire or not.
Well, if you're in the bottom bracket, you're not going to pay anything. But if you're in the two top brackets or the next two brackets, those two brackets are going to be collapsed and you're going to pay 3%.
What is the bottom bracket?
Oh, man. I'm not.
Sorry about that.
Ruben, I don't know. Here's what I do know. We've got three brackets. Okay, there's bottom bracket, a middle bracket, and a top bracket. We virtually eliminate the bottom bracket. We take the two top brackets and we combine those and we go to a flat 3%. We eliminate the corporate franchise tax. We reduce the corporate income tax from 7.5% to 3.5%, which they see as a game changer. And Aaron, here's the important part. This puts us on a path to eliminating the income tax.
Why can't we go straight to that? Why can't we jump to right now, instead of going to 3, say, you know what, we're going to do away with it, and here's how we're going to make it up? Is it too drastic a move?
Well, yeah. Well, let me ask you a question. How many sports teams? How often it happens? But how often can you go from last to first?
It's tough.
And what does it take to do it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and you certainly don't go from last to first without a little bit of exercise, a little bit of pain.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of hard work.
And a plan and a lot of hard work. And that is what I'm trying to explain to the citizens of this state and to the legislature is that, look, we can't just complain about why we're at the bottom and say we want to be at the top and not recognize that there is a lot of work that has to be done to do that. And I think that this legislature has shown the people of the state of Louisiana and myself has shown the people of the state that we can do some things. Look, we said we were going to get right on public safety and crime, and we did it, and we're still working at it. We said we were going to reform our educational system, and we have done that, and we're still going to work towards that. We said that we were going to streamline our government, and we've worked. We've reorganized the Department of Economic Development. We reorganized the Department of Natural Resources. We're working on a complete overhaul. And if y'all got one of them, applause buttons, yeah. The Department of Transportation and Development. But you know what? It's hard to do all of those things when we're fighting over revenue shortfalls on a budget that is based upon a kind of a house of cards. This stabilizes. That's why all of those, the good government, PAR says, this is a great plan.
You mentioned early on in the interview, Governor, you said, our state spending has doubled over the past 10 years or whatever. I know it was $29 billion under Jindal. It's now approaching $50 billion. I don't know. A lot of people, we're talking about replacing the revenue. Are we going to cut this budget? Are we going to get this? Because we've lost people. We're not serving as many people, but yet our budget is out of control, it seems to be.
Well, let me tell you, it's a great question. When I got no credit, no one. Maybe y'all did. Y'all can play maybe some of the comments y'all made on this. But when we came out at the beginning of this year, we asked for a $3.3 billion reduction in state government. But we got? We got a $2 billion. We got a $2 billion. No headlines. Nobody clapped. Nobody said thank you. Nobody said good job. $2 billion is a lot of money. And so there has been a reduction. And we are going to be able to do those things even further. But what I have watched here is that, and this is where we get ourselves in a trap. Okay? This is where the Democrats always beat us. They make us feed on one another. We try to do too much too fast. And don't forget that reductions in state government, okay, across the board become very difficult because of our Constitution. We had about, how many times did I get on the show during the session, which is why we were pushing for a constitutional overhaul. But we didn't get it. But guess what? This opportunity gets us 30% there. 30%.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, are we looking at ways, a lot of people are worried about services being cut, but are we looking at ways to address maybe excessive spending in areas?
Absolutely. Listen, you can go back, and if y'all can't find them, I'll send them to you. We put out at least one, two, maybe more executive orders to our agencies to do exactly that. To do exactly that. In fact, right now, our Secretary of DEQ has been working her fingers to the bone, trying to streamline our permitting process, trying to build the citizens of the state a virtual dashboard, all things that are going to streamline and create efficiencies and cost savings. Dan Casey over at OMV is doing the same. But you know what the problem is? They're running into a bureaucratic buzzsaw because the bureaucrats don't like us doing that. But those are things that we are super concentrated on. But if we try to eat too much too fast, the bureaucrats win. But we're doing those things. And then the people of the state will continue to see those kinds of improvements. But it gets real hard to concentrate on those things that are important if we're constantly having fits and starts and fights and then having to put ourselves in a corner where the only places we can cut when we have a budget shortfall is higher education, and health care.
Yeah. Right.
Because, again, those are things that we talk about. You know, we forget about that. You say, well, man, in business, we can just kind of look across the board. But you got to remember, there are these obstacles inside the Constitution that we spoke about earlier in this year. And so because we came up a little short, we said, okay, we can do, let's try a different approach, you know, which is kind of really interesting. We normally don't do that. We normally just beat our heads up against the wall and really get more frustrated. But we step back. This is a great plan.
Governor, can you hold on with us? We got to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back. Okay. Governor Jeff Landry on the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker Hotline. Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
Back with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
On the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker Hotline, Governor Jeff Landry joining Mike and McCarty. Governor, with eliminating the inventory tax and sales tax exemptions, et cetera, we're looking at $500 million. Where are we making this up?
Where are we making what up?
The lost revenue from the tax cuts.
Oh, well, look, here's what we have always been taught. That when the Laffer curve tells us that when you lower the rates and expand the base and you grow the economy, you raise more revenue. And we believe that this plan right here gets us exactly there. And the most important part is, now some people say, well, didn't we do this during the General days? Here's the difference. By relying more on sales taxes and reducing our income tax, we create a more recession-resistant revenue stream, okay? Mm-hmm. And because income tax and corporate income tax are extremely volatile, consumption taxes are much more stable. So we go from taxing your labor to putting a tax system based upon your choices. And so we believe that this plan right here stabilizes that. Again, look, take a couple of great things about this plan. Very important. It doubles the standard deduction for seniors. It allows for a permanent teacher pay raise by paying down debt that will only give us existing savings. Okay? I think that when you go down the list of all the things that this does, it's really hard for any citizen to say, man, you know what? This is what we've been needing. Because if you look at North Carolina did this like 20 years ago. And when North Carolina started, their family median income was about $2,000 more than those in Louisiana. Today it's $11,000 more. I mean, just think if the average family in Louisiana had $100,000 more over the last 10 years, what we could have done with that. Mm. And you want to talk about, and let me tell you something else. You want to talk about further reducing and constraining budgets? We know that the biggest pressure on our budget comes from Medicaid, right? Comes from the social programs, because we got a lot of poor people in this state. But when you move people from dependence to independence, you move people off of those programs. How do you move people off those programs? You can only move them off those programs if there's work.
Right. Let me shift gears real quick on our last couple of minutes. The federal government implemented, and I know your staff probably told you I was going to ask you about this, and this may be a Liz Murrill question. The Fair Labor Standards Act changes for the salaries. The new requirements went into effect, which would bump salaries up by like 9,000. Some private companies say they're going to lose jobs if this is implemented. Texas is fighting this federal mandate. Should Louisiana be fighting it too?
Oh, absolutely. Because anytime that the federal government arbitrarily tells businesses how much they have to pay something, it's a train wreck. It's a complete train wreck.
Now, we're not a party to the lawsuit yet. Will you be encouraging Liz Murrill to get involved?
Oh, I certainly will. I'm surprised. I mean, I know she's got a lot on her plate, and in fact, if I'm not mistaken, I talked to her yesterday, the day before. I think she's visiting with a bunch of AGs right now. And it's a Republican AG meeting. I'm sure that's going to be on the topic, but I certainly will mention it to her.
Because I know for our company, it may cost jobs for a lot of corporations. I think the Texas injunction they got only applies to the state of Texas as an employer and may not apply to all employers. I'm not sure. I'm still doing research on it, but it's something that troubles you, I would bet.
I will, and I'm glad you pointed that out to me. I'm going to drop her a text. But I tell you what, that's a great example, right? That government has a tendency, when they do it the wrong way, to kill jobs rather than create jobs. This is an opportunity. Our tax reform takes the government out of the way, puts more money in your pocket, attracts businesses into the state, and at the end of the day, lift people out of poverty.
Governor, I do have a quick question. I want to change gears one more time. You are insistent on getting Mike the Tiger back in LSU Stadium when a lot of people say it's not a good environment for a wild animal.
Well, wait, a lot of people or some people?
Okay, some people, but some of them are veterinarians.
I don't know, the people I talk to would love it. I mean, as a child, that was a great thing for us. I mean, do you think it's not a good idea? I mean, why would it be? I mean, listen, they got tigers out there might love. We got horses. We got animals that love crowds. Some don't. We got people that like crowds and people that don't like crowds. Like my brother, he don't like crowds, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why can't we have a tradition? Why can't we honor? How about this? How about honoring the mics from 1 to 6 that went out there and did entertain our fans? That did. I mean, those are things that attract. I didn't go to LSU, but I love going to the football game as a child.
No, I do see if a tiger is brought up in captivity like that and is used to that, I don't see that being an issue. I do agree with you there. Yeah, sure.
I never said I want to make a tiger. You know what? That was, and I don't remember if it was Mike the 6th or Mike the 5th. And of course, I just did an executive order on free speech and expression and right to assemble on college campuses. But one of the tigers, that would go in the cage. They'd open the cage up, and if he'd get in, they'd take him. If he didn't, they wouldn't. Hey, I'm all for that. You know what I mean? We give the tiger the right. I mean, I don't nobody's trying to drag the tiger to do something. But for Pete's sake, there's tigers around the country that might want to honor Mike 1 through 6 and say, I'd love to go see 110,000 people in Tiger Stadium, and I want to help LSU beat Ole Miss, Alabama, Georgia. Come on, man.
Yeah, we got to beat Alabama. Governor, thank you so much for your time this morning.
How many people, Ruby, you think there's more people like to see the Tiger in the stadium than not?
Let's see the Tiger. That's
there you go.
I got it. All right. Hey, listen, always great being with y'all.
Thank you, Gov.
Governor, thank you so much. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty.
To the show with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Well, Lewis Johnson with Bossier City responds to the speed trap allegations of the new Walter O. Bigby Parkway. That's coming up right after the break. Mike and McCarty. 101.7 FM, 710KEEL.com.
Breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Newsmaker hotline. Lewis, is your middle initial R?
No, it's not. I don't have one.
I don't know where I got that. I called the Sheriff Henry Whitehorn. For some reason, I said C or something. I don't know where I don't know. Anyway, thank you for joining us this morning.
The Walter Bigby carriageway opened up earlier this week, and day one, police were out there giving tickets. Yesterday, you told me, and I'm quoting you, that was not a good move. We regret it happened. Obviously, horrible optics.
I did address it. I don't recall it being exactly that way, but I acknowledged that I understood the concerns regarding that.
How many people got tickets during the first couple of days on the park carriageway?
There were 11 tickets that were given.
Well, that's not terrible.
That's it?
Yeah. Boy, I thought with all this, there were hundreds. SPD's just writing them like,
there were
Bossier
11
PD.
tickets that were given on the carriageway. And let me remind you, if you would please, that's a major project for the city of Bossier, and the entire carriageway itself was designed with safety in mind. And we can see that from a number of things, including the design of the roundabouts.
How many cars were pulled over? Do you have that distinction?
I'm sorry, ma'am?
Do you have the distinction? How many cars were pulled over?
No, I do not have that, but I have how many tickets were given. There were 11 tickets that were given.
So of those 11 tickets, are there any that are going to be excused? Are they going to just write these off and go, well, you have a warning? Or are they...
I appreciate that question. And, of course, there are options as it relates to that. But I would think that at this point that, and I cannot speak for the police chief or the mayor, but I'm sure that if those tickets go through the process, that any consideration that can be given will be given in that respect.
Lewis Johnson, who made the decision to set up essentially a speed trap on the carriageway on day one? Who made that call?
It's not a speed trap, Aaron. Once again, if safety is our concern, then whenever and wherever, the officers did not do anything wrong by any means. However, we do understand that there are too many positive things with that carriageway, and it symbolizes too many positive things, such as our citizens paying for it, and our mayor and our city council working together to make an infrastructure project actually happen. And so there are a lot of positive things that we have there. So we don't want the focus to be, or we don't want it to symbolize anything other than that. But the officers, they are assigned at different areas throughout the city. And so the fact that they were there that morning is understandably questionable, but they certainly did not do anything wrong. But
you didn't answer my question. Who made the decision on day one to have motorcycle cops or other cops up on the carriageway?
To answer your question, we have a patrol division, and so the patrol division determines where we patrol. And so it would be about the patrol division where the decision was made.
And understand, I think and I don't want to speak for Aaron, but when we say speed trap, it's a little tongue-in-cheek. It's
okay, and I agree. I can appreciate that in that respect. But I'm saying if that's the first time and that's the only time that we've had that happen, to refer to it as a speed trap would not be it really would not be accurate, because normally speed traps are identified by those places where people are often, and that type of thing. But I can appreciate what you're saying.
Now, I literally wrote your quotes down yesterday, so I'm going to quote you again.
Okay, and I'm ready to listen to them as well.
It was not a good move. Someone was sitting in the room when you said this. Obviously, horrible optics. We regret it happened. What should have been done differently, Lewis Johnson?
Okay, if that is what I said, my point was that the optics obviously was not a good look. I can't question that, because if it was, then we would not be having it being viewed the way that it is. But what could be done differently? I think that, first of all, if safety is our concern, and it is, then I don't know if we've done that, if that was a bad call. However, with it being the first day and with citizens becoming familiar with it, there are a number of things that could be done differently. And I think that one of the things that could be done differently is simply be aware of the fact that citizens are becoming aware of the area and the speed limits and things like that. So other options, warnings are options and things like that. But I not only recognize that, our police chief recognizes it. And because of that, once he became aware of it, he adjusted it and addressed it in that respect.
So maybe they should have been just warning tickets, letting people know, hey, we're keeping an eye on this. It needs to be a safe thoroughfare, and let's all play by the rules.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they should have, but I'm certainly saying that they could have. That was one of the options of what we could have done. And so once it became viewed as a negative, that is not what we wanted. That's not what the administration wants. So we're mindful of that and is addressing it accordingly. But if by chance the message is safety, oftentimes the way that you send those messages is that you send them early. But, just as it relates to the overall progress that we've had with that carriageway and how positive it is, we don't want the focus to be on something as negative or viewed negatively. That is why the tickets is a concern and was adjusted.
What do the people do who got tickets? What should they do today?
That is outside of my scope of authority. I would say presently, unless otherwise, they would simply go through the process of the tickets. And if they are to go to court or challenge or whatever, I'm sure that any consideration that can be given will be given. But I don't have the authority to give instructions on what to do beyond that.
Got a message on the Shreveport Security Systems message board. It says people were going 55 to 60 miles an hour. The speed limit is 35. We met the motorcycle police at National Night Out. They mainly wrote warnings. Any given day, you guys are like the rest of us, complaining about speeders and people running red lights. These guys were doing their job. That's what the message says, which is true.
Minimal, and I did not give you any numbers, but the minimal of tickets that was given speed was 52, which is 17 above. Everything else was greater than that. So obviously, the tickets that were given for those who were speeding, but we are not unaware of the optics in that respect, and we want to make sure that the carriageway is viewed in a positive way. And so the police chief wants the same. So as relates to the time frame, we looked at that, and we want to make sure that we're mindful of it as we go forward. But once again, safety is our number one concern, and I think that message is clear at this point.
Did you have a record of how many warning tickets were issued?
I do not have a record of that.
Can you get that for us? Do you mind?
I do not mind at all.
And shoot that to me. We would love to add that because there are people that are putting on social media that they got pulled over. They got pulled over. Maybe they're not putting they got a ticket, but it's way more than 11 people.
Okay. Well, the number of tickets that were given on the carriageway that morning were 11. And that's the information that I formally received after requesting it.
And that was for that one day, the day one of it opening.
That is correct. That was the only time at that point.
Are they going to be back out periodically patrolling?
Well, yeah. Of course they are.
I don't understand the question, Aaron.
They will be back out, watching for speeders on the carriageway?
Oh, at some point, of course, we watch for speeders everywhere.
Okay.
So the carriageway is not exempt, obviously, but just that it's the first day and the opening of it, and citizens are becoming familiar with it. There is some consideration in that respect, but of course they'll be everywhere where anyone is speeding. So the carriageway can be expected, as with anywhere else in the city, that we're going to abide by the speed limits, reasonably so.
Got a message from a local judge. I'm not going to name names, but I'm going to quote you this. You're going to appreciate this, Lewis Johnson. Why do people bitch when the law is enforced? What dumbasses. I'm sorry.
Well, I would not say that, Aaron, but I would certainly smile when you say it.
Lewis, I did ask one of the people complaining about that, and I said, well, let me ask you one question. Were you speeding?
Yeah.
I very much appreciate that. And as I said, it's a conversation that's been had within the administration, and our mayor and our chief of police is aware of it, and they are concerned about it. We appreciate our citizens. We appreciate them providing the funding for the carriageway. That's a biggie. And there are a lot of positive things with that carriageway, and we want to focus on those things. But as it related to being there the first day and getting tickets, I understand the concern in that respect. So I think it's a message that we can all move forward from and know that as it relates to that we're going to be mindful. We want to be mindful of our citizens, but at the same time, safety is our number one concern, and that's everywhere in the city, including the carriageway.
How's the traffic been on the carriageway this week? Has it been, would you consider heavy traffic, people taking advantage of it, or people still learning about it?
I don't have the exact numbers on it, but I've driven it a couple of times, and so have the mayor, and so we see that people are definitely using it. And I think that anyone in Bossier City that has had to wait at a train track for an extended period of time is very grateful to have that outlet as it relates to being unobstructed by train travel. So when I was up there, it was certainly moderate at best, but I went at different times. So I think the more that our citizens become aware that it's open and available, we expect that people will be using it more.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. Have you guys driven it yet?
No, my plan, I was over there 2 days ago eating lunch, and I thought I needed to go up there, and I completely forgot because I got a text from somebody that needed me to come back into Shreveport. So I'm planning to go over there today or tomorrow.
Okay, and when you do, Aaron, when you see the roundabout, if you do a little research on roundabouts, you'll see that roundabouts versus lighted intersections, the safety and decrease in collisions is just major in that respect. So that is part of that design for it to have added safety. The roundabouts provide that, and of course, so does patrol.
I kind of drive roundabouts like Chevy Chase. I'm a little worried about it, but I'll try it.
You have to understand how they work, but that's not the only roundabout in Bossier.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We've got several of them, and that's why we have them. Believe it or not, the numbers say less than 70. There's a 75% decrease in collisions.
Okay.
So, Lewis, for those
90% decrease in fatalities. So safety is clearly a part of that design, and it's intentional in that respect.
Real quick, in the last 30 seconds, let people know, for those that don't know, where exactly can you pick it up, and where does it drop you out, the new Walter O. Bigbee carriageway?
You can pick it up on Benton Road, and once you take it on Benton Road, it'll take you all the way over back to Texas and down near the casino into the
where on Benton Road? Where does it come out?
It's by Douglas Drive,
I don't
right?
know the exact block number, but it needs to be when you go to Texas Street, it will be north of Texas Street.
Okay. All right. Lewis Johnson with the Bossier City, thank you so much for jumping in that hot seat for us.
Not a hot seat, that's what we do, and I thank you for the attention to it, because we want our citizens to know that we're very concerned, and we don't want it to be viewed as a negative. We want it to be viewed as a positive, and so I think that if we slow down and be mindful, that we'll all benefit from it. But thank you guys for having me on this morning.
Thank you, Lewis. Cardi, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, and on the free KEEL app.
Back with more of Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
I love this. 2024 Police Appreciation Lunch is coming up October 9th at the police headquarters. You don't have to go to help support. In fact, Shreveport Police Chief Wayne Smith on the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker Hotline. Chief, good morning. Happy Friday.
Good morning and happy Friday to all of you. Thank you so much for having me on your air.
You're going to throw down a challenge today. You want folks to step up and buy tickets so all your officers get a free lunch, and you've done something special, right?
Absolutely. I'm going to buy the first 10 tickets to challenge everyone out there to join me in supporting your local law enforcement officers. You know, the Caddo Crime Stoppers is putting on this event, and they are so vital to our community in helping to solve crimes and give those who know information about a crime an outlet, a way to report what they know. Awesome organization.
Now, this is called Burgers for the Badge, and if people would like to donate, and we are encouraging them to do so, go to cscrimestoppers.org and then hit that Burgers for the Badge link. And you can donate right there with a credit card or PayPal.
And we're going to match it, Chief, too. Mike and I, if you want to spend our money, if we get 5 other people between now and 9 o'clock to shoot us a text or message that they're going to sponsor 10 lunches, we're going to do the same. So we're going to jump in and help you.
That would be awesome. Thank you so much for supporting your area local law enforcement. We appreciate you so very much. And this is not just, for the Shreveport Police. This is the Caddo Parish Sheriff's Department. The deputies will be involved, the Shreveport City Marshal Office. It's everyone that serves in a law enforcement capacity in your community.
Thank you, Chief. We're going to be on top of it. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Chief.
1017 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty, and on the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker Hotline, Nathan Strebeck with the Department of Insurance. Nathan, what exactly is your title? You're the Deputy Commissioner, is that correct?
I am Deputy Commissioner of the Office of Insurance Fraud.
Insurance fraud.
How big a problem? I know it's like about $40 billion problem nationwide. How big a problem is insurance fraud in Louisiana?
It's huge, and we suspect that it's actually larger than $40 billion nationally. We think the Coalition Against Insurance Fraud quantified this to be $308.6 billion annually. We think it's about $4 billion in Louisiana.
Who are the culprits? Is it just individuals? Is it providers? Is it insurance companies? Or the whole gamut?
Well, I'd say it really runs the whole gamut. In particular, we had a recent event came up as it relates to Hurricane Francine. Commissioner Temple put a surveillance program in place to actively monitor for nefarious conduct online. And so as Francine became on shore, I guess really the day before, September 10th, we identified a nefarious website purporting to be a lawyer. We identified that. It was attempting to phish information, including Social Security numbers and private information and things of that nature, deploy spamware and malware. And fortunately, before Francine ever made landfall, we were able to report that to Google and get that site taken down to protect consumers.
When you talk about insurance fraud, are you also talking about people that go, oh, my neck, oh, and then are actually fine?
It certainly could include that. I mean, certainly any type of misrepresentation that is made with the intent to procure a benefit from an insurance company that you are not entitled to for material gain. I think that's the definition of insurance fraud. So I think that definitely could apply there.
We still see cases, because we had a rash of it several years ago, of people faking accidents. Not necessarily faking them, but purposely causing them for the insurance money.
Yes, and we see that type of fraud as well.
Where do people report insurance fraud? Where's the go-to spot if you suspect it?
So the easiest way is just to go to the Department of Insurance's website, or if you have our own phone app, you can report it there as well. There's a tile on the application that will allow you to report the matter to our office and certainly our website as well.
And what is that app, Nathan?
It's the Department of Insurance app,
okay.
And it's available on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store.
All right, good idea to have. Look, thank you so much for your time this morning, and we appreciate the information.
Thank you.
Thanks.
1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Coming up, it's my favorite time. We're going to get our flu shots. Representatives from Auctioner Health.
It's an 18-inch needle.
It is not. It's like a strand of hair.
Oh, God.
That's coming up after the break. Mike and McCarty, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL.
The Humana Honor Medicare Advantage Plan gives you $1,680 back each year in your Social Security check. Choose coverage that helps you keep more money in your pocket. Learn more at GetHumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. The Part B Give Back benefit pays part or all of your Part B premium, and the amount may change based on the amount you pay for Part B. Limitations and restrictions may apply. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Back to the show with Mike and McCarty on 1017 FM and 710 KEEL.
All right, Ruben, are you taking pictures? Do you have pictures going?
I got the camera ready.
Oh, man.
Okay. In studio with us is Dr. Evelyn Pryor. She's the chief of internal medicine at Auctioner LSU Health Shreveport. And RN Brad Pastor, he's the one going to be doing the jabbing this morning.
I don't like him. And let's not call it jabbing.
En's already fallen out of her chair once.
Yeah. Delicate inserting.
Dr. Pryor, tell me about this particular flu shot. Is that the correct term, flu shot? Okay. This is just the flu. This isn't like a combination flu and COVID or mRNA or whatever. This is...
No, so this is the flu shot, and it has It's what we call quadrivalent. So there are 4 strains of the flu, 2 A's and 2 B's. Every year they survey the prevalence of various viruses and come up with a flu shot tailored for that season.
Okay, good.
You're pretty
these
confident.
These are more A's and B's than I've ever gotten. Just saying.
Yeah, I believe that. You're pretty confident this will protect you, but again, it's never 100%, right?
Absolutely no. I mean, so our goal is to keep the prevalence of the virus to a minimum in the community. So definitely it will prevent many people, about 60%, from getting the flu. But then whether you get one of the flu strains that are in the vaccine or even some other flu strains, you should have a milder course. Because, of course, what we're really concerned about is the severe cases of flu that can turn into pneumonia.
Are we seeing the flu in town yet? Is it popping up?
We are. As a matter of fact, one of the people who helps us in our office is out and her son with the flu right now.
And
ironic, isn't it?
And how bad is it? I mean, is it a nasty, is it one of those that lays you down for a couple of weeks or a week or whatever?
So far, what we've seen is just a typical flu. So the sore throat, body aches, chills, congestion, not feeling well, but a little bit of a cough.
Who should get the flu shot? Let's run from A to Z. Who needs to get this flu shot?
And we need names. The whole...
Well, the two of you.
We'll be here all day, right?
Right. So basically, everyone 6 months and older. We're really targeting young people and older people and people who are at risk, people who have underlying immunocompromise or are going through something like chemo or a major surgery. Those people definitely need protection because they're going to be more at risk for the complications of influenza.
Now, let me ask you another. When do we typically see higher cases of flu numbers? I mean, are we moving into that season right now?
So flu season is basically fall and winter. The peak month can vary. It's most often February, but it can be March, it can be December or January too, just depending on what exactly is out there.
So we're getting ours now, which I would think would be fairly early, but it's really not too late to go ahead and get one, even if you get into January and February. Is that correct?
Absolutely not. Any time is good. So yes, I mean, the ideal time is before the end of October because we would like to prevent flu, and the more people who are vaccinated early, the more chances we have of keeping the overall number of virus down.
Is the flu shot that we're going to get today, I'm stalling in case you're wondering.
I was kind of wondering.
Is the flu shot we're getting today, is it the same that I'm going to get at the grocery store, the drugstore? It's the same thing typically, right?
Yes, so there are several manufacturers, and so I say it's kind of like Ralph Lauren and Calvin Klein. I mean, they're the same thing.
I want the Gucci shot.
I want the Wrangler one.
They haven't come out with those yet.
And here's a dumb question for you, and I'm a little bit worried to ask this because I've heard that there is a stronger flu shot for folks who are older.
Right.
I'm not quite there yet, right?
Correct.
Thank God. Okay. But I'm on the cusp.
We're
on the cusp.
We looked at that.
Did you really?
Yes, we were like, okay.
No, of course they did.
It's snuck under.
Let's look at that DOB. Well, they're close. What is that age?
What is the age?
65.
Okay.
So, and definitely 75. We want everyone to get one of the high-dose vaccines.
Okay. And so we're not going to do this in the butt today.
Okay.
We're gonna do-
and another question, because there's a misnomer out there. Well, I get the flu shot. I get sick.
Yes, that is something that we deal with
and that's
all
what
the
people
time.
say, I'm saying.
Right. So there are several different vaccines. People who take the nasal spray, that is a attenuated live vaccine. And so some people can have a mild reaction to that. Generally, people aren't having any reaction to the flu. But there are so many viruses out there. What we think is happening is that people get the flu shot and they have RSV already. And so that illness is actually another illness. It's not that the vaccine causes the flu. There's no evidence that the vaccines cause the flu.
Right. And that's why I wanted to bring that up, because a lot of my family are healthcare professionals, nurses, and doctors, and it's just simply not true. The flu shot does not give you the flu.
No
Right.
Does not make you sick.
Dr. Evelyn Pryor, where can folks go if they want to get the flu shot? They want to get it today or some Saturday places?
So many places, every pharmacy, the health department, and then, of course, your doctor. So every doctor in town, primary care, definitely has the flu shot.
And I've been coughing and running a high fever, so that doesn't... is that...
Yes.
All right, let's go. Oh, Ruben's going to take...
You're first. Ruben.
Yeah.
Don't take your shirt off. Don't... Wait, hey. She took her shirt off.
You can describe
the alcohol. I'm there. The alcohol prep just now, and Brad's getting the. Oh my gosh, that needle is huge!
Hey.
Oh man, that's a horse shot. I'm just kidding. Look at there. See, already done.
We're done.
Already done.
Are you done, Brad?
I'm done.
Wow.
Applying the Band-Aid now.
Are some people just wusses with needles? Is that just the case? So
sure.
Many people are definitely afraid of needles.
Okay.
And I can see.
Brad, what's the craziest one that you've ever had?
Yeah.
Probably teenagers or
babies that are
11-year-olds that don't want to fight, and they can fight you. So
Did I get a Batman Band-Aid?
you did not.
I did not. Okay, next time I'll get a Batman Band-Aid.
I want an Incredibles.
Oh man. Okay, you're getting it right in your tattoo. I didn't know you had a tattoo.
Oh, he is. He's putting it right in the middle of the eye.
You have an
I do have a
Incredibles
tattoo. My daughter wanted to get a tattoo. She was named after my wife's favorite verse, Micah 6:8.
I hurt for you. Oh wow. Okay.
And so her name was, and so she wanted Micah 6:8, but she didn't want to go by herself to get this tattoo. So I got one with her.
Oh, nice.
And I got the Incredibles logo.
Doc,
it's already done. Look, it's done.
Does insurance typically cover the flu shot?
It does.
For the most part?
Yes.
So you just file it with your insurance company and they cover it?
Absolutely.
And you can have that through your wherever you go, at the pharmacy, wherever you're going?
Yes, every insurance, Medicaid, Medicare, private insurance.
Okay.
And then if you don't have insurance, the health department.
Ah, okay. Some people are doing drive-up clinics or something like that. Is that a viable option too, if you're in a rush?
Yes, it was really popular, of course, during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were offering at our drive-up clinic several different vaccines, including COVID and flu. We haven't started our drive-through yet, but we'll wait to hear what they decide.
One other thing I know, and
I think you should do a drive-through where the patient is there and then the doctor just drives by and does it. And tries to while the doctor's driving.
Get the
or
needle
the
out of
nurse.
my eye. Pneumonia shots too. I know that when my mother used to get her flu shot when she was older, she would also get the pneumonia. Who should be getting that too this time of year?
So pneumonia vaccine is recommended for everyone 65 and older, and then people who are immunocompromised, people who are more at risk.
Is
for
that part of the more
complications.
powerful flu shot, or is that a separate
It's
vaccine
a totally
for the
separate
for
vaccine.
the older?
So pneumonia is a bacteria, and thanks to advances, we now have a pneumococcal vaccine that is a one-time vaccine.
Oh, good.
So if you've had the other vaccines, whenever it's time for your next pneumonia vaccine, which will be 5 years from your previous one, we will give you the new pneumonia vaccine, and then that'll be it.
One more thing I want to ask you. When we talked about you're seeing the flu now, are we seeing it in schools yet? Because I know that's when it starts peaking, when those rugrats come home from school and it's been spreading at school. Is that happening yet?
According to the Louisiana government site that tracks the flu tracker, we've had about 20 in the state and one hospitalization pediatric in the state so far.
Okay, that's
Dr.
good.
Evelyn Pryor with Oxnard LSU Health Shreveport. One thing real quick also, it seems like I'm hearing more and more about the shingles vaccine, and that's a separate also, right?
That is separate also.
And who should be getting that?
So we recommend everyone 50 and over be vaccinated for shingles. So young people are all getting the chickenpox vaccine. So shingles will never be a problem for them. Shingles is the chickenpox virus reactivated.
So if we had the chickenpox vaccine as children, are we okay?
So you wouldn't have had the chickenpox vaccine as children.
Oh, we
because
wouldn't
it came
have?
out much later.
Right.
Well, how old do you think I am? I'm only 23.
They know everything about you, I promise.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they have all my. Oh, dang, gosh, I
Been
can't
in
pull
your
that
chart.
off.
Yeah.
Well, then, what did we get? The
Measles,
MMR?
mumps, rubella, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now everyone is vaccinated.
So what if
against
I had
chickenpox?
chickenpox?
So the people who had chickenpox definitely need the shingles
Oh,
vaccine.
okay.
Huh.
Yes,
Because the virus is already living inside you.
And now-
That's what the
Exactly.
commercial says.
If they come back with the shingles
Right.
vaccine to do the shingles vaccine for us one day, I'm out sick that day.
Why? Is that?
Yeah, I'm out sick. I got me. Oh, 2 shots. Oh, yeah, I'm out sick 2 days. Anything we should watch for after getting the flu shot? You're not seeing anything, right?
No, I mean, a tiny, very tiny portion of people may have an injection site reaction, but we have such an amazing injector, I think
Yes.
the chances are zero.
And I don't think there's.
Hey,
You're seeing our first reaction.
y'all are great. Thank you for
Yeah,
coming
that's
in.
really not funny when you don't play that if you go. My wife's a nurse, and and she does cardiac rehab, and a guy was leaning over the bike like he had passed out.
Not a good plan.
Thought it was funny. Yeah.
No, not a good
Dude,
plan.
not funny.
Definitely not funny. Thank y'all so much for coming in. I appreciate it. It really was painless. I was messing with
Nothing
you.
to it. Dr.
Yeah.
Evelyn Pryor and Brad Pastor with Auctioneer LSU Health Shreveport, vaccinating us every year. Thank you so much, guys, for coming in. Have a great weekend. Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. By the way, coming up, Shreveport does have a new DDA director. Michael Corbin will be joining us after the news, bottom of the hour. Mike and McCarty.
More breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
One 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. How's your arm?
It's on the floor. No, I'm joking. It's
My
fine.
shoulder's killing me.
It is fine.
I'm just
It's
kidding.
fine. Throw
I'm
down a
kidding.
challenge from Wayne Smith, Chief of Police.
Yes, he joined us just before 7 o'clock. Coming up, Burgers for the Badge,
Yep.
Burgers for Badges, which is going to be on October 9th at police headquarters. They're going to be featuring burgers and sides, desserts, drinks, all for Shreveport. Well, actually, local law enforcement. It's not just for SPD. And the lunches are only $10.
Yep.
And we're asking you to pony up. We would love to be able to cover every officer that wants their lunch. And we want to buy them lunch.
Chief Smith has bought 10 tickets, and he is challenging all department heads, all local officials to also match that and buy 10 tickets. And we have said if we get 5 people that shoot us a text that are your maybe our listeners, your local politician, local department heads, if you pony up 10 tickets and buy 10 tickets,
Right.
Mike and I will match it. You'll get to spend $100 of our money if you match that today. We've already got John Settle says he'll match it. He's going to buy 10.
Yep,
So
John Settle's already stepped up.
We need 4 more people to pony up $100.
Aaron and I will also jump in.
And then you'll spend some of our money.
So we want you, and what you can do is go to cscrimestoppers.org and click on that Burgers for Badges link, Burgers for the Badge. And
Our own sales manager just said she's in $100.
There
so
we
that's
go.
2. We need 3
All
more.
right, Lisa.
We need 3 more.
3 more.
And then you spend some of my money.
And you can message us on the Shreveport Security Systems message board through the free KEEL app and let us know that you ponied up. And let's get these officers a lunch.
Absolutely.
On October 9th.
Cedric Glover's going to be the DDA director. They have a signed deal. Michael Corbin's going to tell us about it.
Well, I wasn't going to say who it was yet.
Oh, my bad.
So take it back.
We all know. Oh, no, it's not. It's not Cedric.
No. We don't know who it is, but we'll find out next. Golly. Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
Back to the big stories of the day with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Well, now that Aaron's let the cat out of the bag, although I don't think anybody didn't know that's been following this, we have a new downtown development director, and the chairman of the board, Michael Corbin of the DDA is on the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker hotline. Michael, good morning.
Good morning. How are y'all?
So we're fine, thank you. Cedric, who the hell's Eric? Cedric is signed, sealed, and delivered. When does he start? When is his first day on the job?
Well, after 10 months of searching, Mr. Glover will begin the job as Executive Director of the Downtown Development Authority on October the 14th.
What are the marching orders for him? What has the board told him? Here are our priorities.
Well, we've really not gotten quite to that point yet. We had to negotiate a contract, which we finished up yesterday. When he comes in on the 14th, I expect we will probably have a special board meeting and to both welcome him and to get some conversations started. I think he needs to spend some time in the office, spend some time around staff, see what's going on, and at the same time, both hearing from the board members and, more importantly, possibly from the downtown stakeholders of what they're looking for, and then we can, as a team, sort through priorities.
It took a minute to get the contract finalized, which led me to believe there were a few sticking points. Is that accurate or no?
Not really. We ended up with no changes to the contract at all. I think it was just timing and availability of various people that were involved in the process.
Michael Corbin with the Downtown Development Authority. Michael, are details of the contract going to be made public?
Yes, once the contract is signed by both parties, and actually I have to sign it this morning. At that point, once the recruitment firm has a copy of it, Mr. Glover has a copy of it, then it will be available through public records request through the DDA office later today.
Salary released yet, or we're going to wait for that?
We're going to wait till everything is signed off.
But comparable to what Liz Swain was making as DDA director?
Comparable, yeah. Not any major changes. We did an all new employment contract. And that was not aimed at the incoming executive director at all. That was 100% us acknowledging there were weaknesses in our previous contract, and we needed to shore those up a little bit. And so this contract is about a page longer, but we feel like it helps the executive director and protects the organization a little better.
And what was Liz Swain's salary when she left?
Don't know it to the penny, but I believe it was around $120,000.
Okay. And how long? What's the length of this contract with Cedric?
This is a 3-year contract, and it is certainly renewable. And the reason we went to a 3-year contract is there's an assessment that funds the DDA that will be on the ballot soon. It sunsets in 2027, and our legal counsel felt it was in our best interest to have a contract that did not extend past that possible sunset date. But if, of course, when that is renewed, if that is renewed by the citizens of Shreveport, then we would be talking about contract renewal at that point.
Michael Corbin, you're chairman of the board, but I would like to just ask you as one member of the board, what do you personally see as some things we need to do better in downtown Shreveport?
Well, I think it's going to be a challenge. No matter who came in as executive director, it's going to be a challenge solely because of where we are with Shreveport. We have one of our finest office towers in limbo with ownership. We have Curtis Jackson, who has bought a number of properties, but we don't know what's going to happen to those properties, and there's no renovations happening yet. We have other buildings with out-of-town ownership that continue to sit empty or far underutilized. And we're not alone with that. Other cities have that as well. But I think we're going to have to really take a serious look at how do we get more people downtown, whether it's to play, to work, to live. How do we strengthen downtown? And I think two of the biggest things we have to overcome are just pure perception, is that downtown is not safe, which is not true. And the other thing deals with parking. There's people who refuse to come downtown because they don't believe they can find a parking place or that parking's difficult. And I work downtown, I walk the streets downtown, and I'm telling you, throughout the business day, there's plenty of places to park downtown. I think maybe the bigger problem is not so much that there's not parking; it's that nobody knows how to parallel park anymore. And as vehicles have gotten bigger, that's gotten more difficult. But there's discussions that we can have about different ways to address parking as well.
Michael Corbin, you mentioned parking, and I've seen things now that you have an app. Is that correct? You can use to pay for the parking meter. There's a it's not a barcode. What is that called? The QR code that's on the meter that you scan.
Yep, there's a QR code on the meter. We are encouraging all of our downtown restaurants and businesses who maybe take orders or communicate with people coming into their business to put that QR code on their webpage so that people can download the app if they've not previously done so. But the same app that we use in Shreveport is used in numerous cities in Louisiana and across the country. So if you travel at all, you probably have the downtown app as well. And there are still coin meters downtown as well.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask, because I've seen, like warning reels about people are scamming by putting fake QR codes on top of the real ones. And then when people scan those, it gives them access to their phone and information. Have you seen any of that locally? Has that been an issue at all?
We are aware of that nationally. We have not seen any of it locally, and our parking patrollers, keep an eye on the meters to make sure that they've not been tampered with. And we are preparing to buy a number of new meters that both accept coins, use the app, and will take a credit or debit card.
Michael Corbin with the Downtown Development Authority. Cedric Glover, I'm going to be delicate. He has his detractors, as you well know. What are some of his good points that you think make him qualified to be the DDA director as he's stepping into the office?
Well, certainly there is no doubt that Mr. Glover loves and is committed to Shreveport. His public service has played that out, and I think that certainly works in his favor. Through his tenure as city council and state legislature and mayor, he's made many relationships, and I think that will be beneficial to him. He's, as you say, with anybody who's been in public office that long, there's some public perception and persona that precedes them. And, the best thing for him and for the organization is for him to hit the ground running and, learn everything he can, soak it up like a sponge, and begin to engage with both the downtown stakeholders, the city, and the public.
Has he shared any ideas of what you say hit the ground running, of ideas that he has or maybe policies to implement to help some of these challenges?
Through the interview process, we talked a little bit about it. It's my hope that I'm able to get some one-on-one time with him this next week and visit just a little bit more before he comes into the office and talk about some other things and kind of hear him out. And I have a few things I may share with him as well.
We'll get him in studio. Hopefully, maybe the two of you come together. It doesn't matter. And we'll talk about what's coming up.
That would be great. And I hope you got the virtual lollipop that I sent each of you for being such a good shot taker.
Thank you, Michael Corbin.
I haven't seen it, but thank you.
And I promise not to call you a DA when you get off the phone.
Gotcha.
Michael Corbin with the Downtown Development Authority. Coming up, by the way, top of the hour after the news, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson going to be joining us. Looking forward to that conversation always. Hey, man, we didn't have it. I was hoping Ruben would have it. Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
At Humana, our Medicare Advantage plans give you coverage and care you can count on, along with guided support to help you feel your best. You could have a plan with a $0 premium or an all-in-one plan that may include medical and prescription coverage, as well as routine dental, vision, and hearing. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
We're working the Burgers for the Badge coming up October 9th. We would love to be able to get lunch for all Shreveport police officers and law enforcement officials in the area. Chief Wayne Smith has issued a challenge. In fact, Chief Smith, you've done something kind of special.
Absolutely. I'm going to buy the first 10 tickets to challenge everyone out there to join me in supporting your local law enforcement officers. You know, the Caddo Crime Stoppers is putting on this event, and they are so vital to our community in helping to solve crimes and give those who know information about a crime an outlet, a way to report what they know. Awesome organization.
Now, this is called Burgers for the Badge, and if people would like to donate, and we are encouraging them to do so, go to cscrimestoppers.org and then hit that Burgers for the Badge link. And you can donate right there with a credit card or PayPal.
And we're going to match it, Chief, too. Mike and I, if you want to spend our money, if we get 5 other people between now and 9 o'clock to shoot us a text or message that they're going to sponsor 10 lunches, we're going to do the same. So we're going to jump in and help you.
That would be awesome. Thank you so much for supporting your area local law enforcement. We appreciate you so very much. And this is not just, for the Shreveport Police. This is the Caddo Parish Sheriff's Department. The deputies will be involved, the Shreveport City Marshal Office. It's everyone that serves in a law enforcement capacity in your community.
Thank you so much, Chief. Look, we've got people that have stepped up to the plate. We were looking for 5 people to jump in and join us and buy 10 tickets.
We're done. But we don't want you to stop.
No, keep going.
They've already spent our money.
So join us. And you don't have to buy 10. If you want to buy 1, buy 2.
Yep.
They're only $10 each.
John Settled buying 10 for us. Port City Mac, 10. Magnolia Pit's going to buy 10. Our buddy Lisa Janes and our sales manager says she's in for 10.
She's in.
I just got a text from Senator Bill Cassidy. He's in for 10.
Look at that.
You're an elected official. You're a department head. Chief Smith is throwing it down. You can afford to buy 10 of these tickets and let these officers eat. Send us a text. Shoot us a message that you're gonna agree. You're gonna join the team. Let's get lunch for all of them. Give me your credit card. You and I are now buying 10.
cscrimestoppers.org.
You missed that.
And I didn't miss it. I did not miss it at all. Burgers for the Badge. Join us, Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710KEEL.com.
Shop Macy's VIP sale, going on now. Use your coupon or Macy's card and take an extra 30% off the latest fall trends from designers that rarely go on sale. And save 15% off skincare, makeup, fragrances, and more. Plus, shop fall specials for even more great deals on top brands at Macy's. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Mike and McCarty, we have been so busy this morning, we haven't even gotten to mention that the dock workers strike, oh my gosh, miraculously over. We've got Speaker of the House Mike Johnson on the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker Hotline. Mike, will you join us in congratulating Joe Biden and Kamala Harris
for fixing it?
In getting that problem solved.
Did he just groan?
It's kind of hinky, though, to me.
Anyway.
I know. Mike, first of all, thank you so much for talking with us this morning. You're presenting an economic package to the New York Stock Exchange coming up. Tell us about this new economic package.
Well, I actually did it on Tuesday. That was a big landmark event for us. I'd never spoken at the stock exchange. It's a surreal experience and a long string of surreal experiences serving as Speaker of the House. But look, we went up and gave the speech and toured the stock market on the floor there on Wall Street. And it's a really important thing. We have to lay out what our agenda is. This is the most fateful election cycle that any of us have ever known. It will decide the future of the country. And we've had 4 years, everybody knows, of just this excruciatingly painful inflation and wage decline and reckless government spending under Biden and Harris. And so what I went to do to the stock exchange is to lay out our plan. House Republicans have a plan to usher in a brighter economic future for every hardworking American family. And what we want to do, just in just very brief summary, I gave a long, boring economic speech, but let me give you the highlights real quick. We want to use the tax code, right, in a way that promotes investment and opportunity. And that is extending upon the Trump-era tax cuts that we passed back in 2017 to 2019. We want to encourage research and development and job creation. And we want to prioritize America, not entangling ourselves with China. We want to curb illegal immigration. We know exactly how to do it. We want to promote American manufacturing again. We want to reform the education system. We want to maximize school choice for parents and hold all these woke universities accountable for their astronomical cost of education. Two things, and then I'll pass it back to you. Reinvigorating the energy sector, we know in a state like Louisiana, is critically important, not just for the economy, but for national security. So we want to unleash American energy production again, repeal the crazy Green New Deal spending and regulations, and then spend responsibly. We got to restore fiscal sanity. We know how to do it. If Republicans back in charge, we will.
Mike Johnson, we're talking about money, and I've got to bring this up. Of course, the devastating Hurricane Helene that moved up the East Coast left millions not only without power, but hundreds of thousands of people without homes. And now we hear FEMA doesn't have any money to help Americans because they have spent billions importing illegal aliens into the country, putting them up in hotels, paying for their sex change operations, paying for their food and housing and clothing and education. But we don't have money for Americans that need it now.
Yeah, this is so infuriating. As usual, this is the Biden-Harris Mayorkas administration driving the country off a cliff. Let me give you a couple of important facts. You heard Secretary Mayorkas, the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. FEMA is a division of DHS, right? We impeached Mayorkas. He's the first sitting cabinet secretary in the history of the United States to be impeached. We did that in the House. I led it. It's been sitting, the Senate killed it. Chuck Schumer, as we send everything over there, they kill it because they wanted to protect him. But here's some important facts. Last Wednesday, before Congress left to go home, I led Congress to provide $20 billion extra dollars and quick drawdown authority directly to FEMA so they would have the immediate operational funds to respond to Helene. So we knew it was coming. It hit 36 hours later. We knew it was going to be a big one. We provided the funding. But so far, Biden and Harris have failed in that response. I mean, I've been traveling the affected states, guys. I was in Georgia, spent all day yesterday in Florida, in the counties and towns where Hurricane Helene made landfall. We have what is probably going to be an unprecedented amount of damage across so many states all at once. And in North Carolina right now, it is a DEFCON 1 situation. People are still stranded in their homes. They don't have water, food, and medicine. So it's been a total failure by the administration. As soon as the states are able to calculate their damages, Congress is fully prepared to provide additional disaster funds as needed. That's what we do. But it's going to take a while to calculate all this. In the meantime, They have taken their eye off the ball. They have put so much focus in DHS on illegals and transporting illegals and sending them through the Shreveport Regional Airport. Everybody's been seeing on social media. That's happening. It's happening across the country because this administration is out of control. We tried to impeach the guy in charge, but ultimately it's Joe Biden and Kamala Harris who made these decisions, and they're going to pay a price for it.
And how insulting is it when they're telling these Americans that, well, you know, we did put up these illegal aliens in luxury hotels and we're giving them gift cards and we're paying for their sex change operations, but we're going to give you $750. Those of you who've lost your homes, your cars, and in many cases, family members and friends and neighbors. But we'll give you $750.
Unbelievable. I mean, it is just infuriating. It's insulting.
My heart rate right now is through my chest. I'm so mad.
Yeah, me too. I was in Florida yesterday with all these disaster people who have suffered this disaster. I mean, there are whole communities that are just gone on the coast of Florida because there was almost a 20-foot storm surge in some of those areas, and then the agriculture areas all the way inland in Florida are devastated, whole crops. I mean, and for the administration to look storm victims in the eyes and say, gee, you know, here's a pittance. I mean, that's 2 nights hotel stay in New York City for illegals that they invited into the country. It is absolute madness.
Mike,
the borders are Kamala Harris is responsible for this.
Let me ask you this, because I make a very comfortable living, and I've cut my budget for my groceries and some of my things. I want you to tell me how, if we do elect conservatives and put the Trump's team back in office, how soon will I see relief, and what will they do to bring relief?
Yeah, great question. I can give you a 90-minute dissertation on this. Let me give it to you in about 90 seconds, okay?
Okay.
Because I'm traveling around the country, and I'm making this presentation to huge ballrooms and airplane hangars full of people everywhere because they need to know that relief is on the way. I'm convinced, Aaron and Mike, that we are going to win this election cycle. I believe Donald Trump's going to be reelected president. I believe we are going to take back the Senate for the Republican Party, and I believe I'm going to keep and grow my House majority. Lots of reasons for that. I can give you all the metrics, but I think it's going to happen. When it does, we're going to have unified government, and that means you'll have Republicans in charge of the White House and both chambers of Congress. Here's what we'll do. Put the economy back on turbo. We know how to do it. We've done it already. Remember, after the first 2 years of the Trump administration, I was part of that as a freshman in Congress. We ushered in the greatest economy in the history of the world, literally, not just the U.S. Every demographic was doing better. The wages were going up. Everybody had more opportunity. The pathway out of poverty was broadened for more people. Why? Because we cut government regulations and we cut taxes and we let people keep more of their hard-earned money, and we got the government off the backs of all these industries and large companies and small businesses as well. So they expanded and grew, and things were going great. The Biden-Harris administration, because their philosophy is different, they've done exactly the opposite. They have grown government. They have put the administrative agencies on a tear against the people that they're supposed to be assisting and helping. And they have weaponized the agencies so that they're almost crushing the people who provide the jobs, provide the increasing wages and all the rest. So there's a formula to do that, and you will see it on steroids as soon as we get the levers of power back. I think we can have relief quickly. At the center of that, just as a footnote, is the energy economy. We have got to stop this madness of declaring war on the oil and gas industry. Natural gas is the key to the future. All of our allies around the world are desperate for exports from Louisiana. But the Biden-Harris administration turned off the spigots. It's crazy. We'll do the opposite.
I know you've got a tight schedule. Just very quickly, how did the down-ballot races look across the country for us getting back Republican control?
I think they look really strong. I am very bullish. November, we're about 30 days out almost now, about 31, 32 days. We're going to run through the tape, but I'm telling you what, at the end of the day, what matters is the quality of the candidates. And we recruited, I put a lot of my time and effort into this myself, recruiting really highly qualified candidates across the board to flip some of the blue states back to red, those seats, and to get all of our incumbents reelected. Most of the pollsters think that we have the edge to keep and grow the House majority, and almost everyone believes Republicans are going to win the Senate. The question is, we're going to have 51 seats there or something like 53 or 54, and that is largely dependent on how well Trump and J.D. Vance do, and I think they're going to do very well. I think people are sick of all this, guys. I think they have the same feeling that we do, and they're desperate for a change, and we're ready to provide it.
And J.D. did such a great job the other night.
Before we let you go, please tell your wife Kelly happy birthday for us, and we thank you for spending time with us.
Thank y'all so much. Great to hear your voices as always. We'll catch up again soon.
Take care.
Thank you, Mike. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, Mike and
Thanks,
McCarty.
Man.
1017 FM, 710 KEEL.
To the show with Mike and McCarty on 1017 FM and 710 KEEL.
I'm sorry, but I impressed myself.
What'd you do this time?
I just talked to the Speaker of the House.
I know, it's kind of cool, isn't it?
No, it's very cool.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. We've both known Mike for a long time, and just so proud for him.
Right.
Representing us very well. Just what a great job. Burgers for the Badge.
Yes.
Look, there may be an issue with their website. I think, Aaron, we may have
crashed it.
We may have crashed their website. We're trying to buy burgers by lunch October 9th for all law enforcement officials in Shreveport and Caddo Parish, I think. And it's cscrimestoppers.org, and then you click on that Burgers for the Badge link.
I'm trying
it's
to buy
just $10, and we've issued a challenge, or actually, Police Chief Wayne Smith issued a challenge this morning. He bought 10 tickets.
Yep.
And so we said if we get 5 people to pledge to buy 10 tickets, you and I are going to buy 10 tickets.
And we're way beyond that.
So Senator Cassidy called in and said, I've got 10. John Settle got 10. People on the message board said, I'm in.
A ton of people.
Yeah. So, wow. Great job.
My buddies at the Magnolia Pit, Port City Mac.
Thank you, John.
Our gal, Lisa Janes. I got some texts from folks that are saying they're in. They are working right now actively to get that website back up.
Please don't give up.
Don't give up. Go back and refresh, because they're going to get the website back up and going, because right now it looks like it's sold out, and I don't think it's sold out. I think we might have crashed it. I'm sorry. You didn't mean to crash your dang website. But, I would love for it to be sold out. I would love for them to say, hey, y'all sold it out. We don't have any more tickets.
I mean, but is that, I guess they have a finite number that they can do.
I don't know. They want to serve all law enforcement in the area. I know Shreveport Police has got nearly 500. So, we've got at least 10. So
and he
we've
said
got
Caddo Sheriffs as well.
So we've sold at least 100 this morning. So we have gotten 25% of Shreveport covered. So, but still, keep trying the website. It's cscrimestoppers.org. And then /burgers, and you'll be able to get on there, and hopefully they'll have it up and going, in the next few hours. I'm sorry if we crashed our website. I apologize.
Thank you. And if you do get that, don't give up.
Yeah, don't give up. Keep trying, please.
So we want to get all the officers covered on October 9th. Port of Caddo Bossier, Eric England, the director, is going to join us coming up here in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, and you mind if I keep your credit card for the weekend so I can keep trying?
1017 FM, 710 KEEL.
Shop Macy's VIP sale, going on now. Use your coupon or Macy's card and take an extra 30% off the latest fall trends from designers that rarely go on sale. And save 15% off skincare, makeup, fragrances, and more. Plus, shop fall specials for even more great deals on top brands at Macy's. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty on 1017 FM and 710 KEEL.
Well, of course, we know the dock workers strike. It's not over, but it has been put on hold for 90 days.
Thanks,
apparently.
Kamala. We appreciate it.
Yeah, Joe Biden, man, stepping up, getting it done. The whole thing stinks of
yeah.
port fish. I don't know. It just something not right.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, Aaron, it was flaming up to be huge.
Oh yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's on hold.
Anybody
it's over. We're going to wait till after the election.
Anybody want to sell me some toilet paper cheap?
Yeah. Yeah, like they couldn't get it anyway. Oh, my gosh. Well, we're going to talk with Eric England for the Port of Caddo-Bossier, and because we got dock workers right here.
Yes, we do.
And we'll talk with him right after the break. Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.com.
Back with McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Well, when you think Shreveport, Bossier, you don't think dock workers, but we do have dock workers here.
You bet.
Port of Caddo-Bossier, and on the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker hotline joining us this morning, Eric England from the port. Eric, good morning.
What's up, guys? Good morning.
Well, I called you yesterday because I thought, well, I wonder if our dock workers in Shreveport or Caddo-Bossier are on strike, and you told me what?
Hey, we had a different conversation, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
For today. Yeah, but in no way whatsoever were our dock workers, if that's what we're going to say on the air. I mean, these are our stevedores, they're our longshoremen. These are our operators on our general cargo dock that unload the barges that arrive at our port. But we were in no way affected by this. We're not covered by that organization. That's mainly your coastal ports where ships come into the United States. We're an inland port that handles barges. So
okay. Are they not unionized?
They are not.
Okay.
They are not. We like to think we run a tight ship, no pun intended, and keep everyone in a place where they want to be, where they don't feel as though they need the union representation.
But you were a little concerned that if that strike went on any kind of length of time, it could have a little bit of an impact here. Kind of describe what we talked about yesterday.
I mean, if something like that were to have gone on for the amount of time that they were projecting, we're all affected by that. Eventually, what we would see is just the trade flows shift. Folks will figure out a way to move the cargo. Time and time again, we've proven that. And then those, what I would call the disruptions from the normal, that's where it would begin to impact us on a day-to-day. But we've seen that would take months on something like this. So happy that they worked out a resolution at least for a few months. You know, they got a big issue ahead of them. The automation is the big issue to discuss, but it looks like they got what they wanted for their folks in terms of pay.
How automated, Eric, talking with Eric England, Port of Caddo-Bossier, how automated are the systems here locally?
Not very. No, it's just a horse of a different color. It's like comparing apples to bowling balls. These are container terminals that folks are seeing on TV, and that's just not the type of cargo that we have here. You can automate a container terminal. Ships can be unloaded, and you've seen the automation of how they can move those containers around.
Yeah, I've seen season 2 of The Wire. I see how that works.
It works. The stuff that we're not handling containers at this port. We're handling bulk commodities like rock and steel that comes in bundles. It requires people. You're not going to automate the type of terminal that we have at an inland port.
Let me ask you something, Eric England, because this, you know, if it's Aaron McCarty out there unloading that stuff at the Caddo-Bossier port, and I see that the folks at the New Orleans port just signed a new deal for the 60% pay increase, I might be leaving the Caddo-Bossier port and going to work in New Orleans. Is there concern that some of our local workers might move to one of those other ports where they're going to they're going to become union workers and make a ton of money?
Or could they try to unionize here?
There's always that possibility. I've been with the port for 30 years, and there's always that possibility. And there are rigid laws associated with that you have to follow. You have to respect. There's always that possibility. But for our crew, I don't think we know we've taken steps to make sure that what folks have here is attractive and makes them want to stay. Our longevity rate reflects it. And so if folks want to make a move for a little bit more, you'll see that. But regression to the mean. Folks are always going to find balance. They may do that. But in the end, with transportation and other things, it's efficient. And you'll find that it'll balance itself out. Folks will find their trade routes. They'll get locked in. And then there'll be some imbalance every now and then. We see that. But eventually, it's regression to the mean. Folks, they find that balance. They find what works, and they find what's efficient.
Eric England, Executive Port Director. Well, now that seems to have been tabled, at least for the time being, they say for 90 days. They're going to wait till after the election. In fact, they're going to wait until next year in January. We've got some exciting news at the port. What have you got working down there now?
We got a lot. We're buying land. We're building water lines. We're building railroad lines, all to just rinse and repeat, as we say, of the practice that we did over the last 30 years. We took raw farmland and converted it to greenfield, shovel-ready sites so that when industry comes knocking on our door with $1 billion capital expenditure they want to make and employ hundreds of people, we say, where do you want to sign? We've got everything they need. So we're busy. We got big projects ahead of us. The water line was $30 million. We got a $30 million railroad to build. We're closing on another 500 acres of property where we've already got a 300-acre lessee that's ready to take, the majority of that property we're buying. So we're doing what we told the citizens we were going to do. We're creating jobs for the community.
Now, you've brought in Dr. Lawrence Scott, probably Louisiana's premier economist. He's in town today. I spoke with him a couple of days ago about our economy. He didn't want to preempt his speech this morning, but I said, is it good news for Shreveport Bossier? And he told me yes. He's going to join us on Monday. But is that event starts at 9. Is it already a sold-out event?
It is almost sold out. I'm looking out my window right now, and the folks are coming in. So if you're going to get here, you might need to head our way.
And where is that, Eric?
Yeah, it's at the port. It's at our Regional Commerce Center, 6,000 Doug Attaway, if you want to plug it in.
Okay.
But I agree to the comment about our economy. You have the Cyber Innovation Center, the Biomedical Research Foundation, the efforts that NLEP, frankly, the port, just a lot of wins recently and a lot of activity on the radar for us, and the outlook is good.
I think, Eric, we're talking with Eric England, Executive Port Director. I still contend a lot of people don't realize how vital and how huge the Port of Caddo Bossier is. What would you share with somebody that would surprise them that this is here? What information would you share with them?
Caddo Bossier is connected to the world. You have the J. Bennett Johnson Red River Waterway. It's part of a 13,000-mile navigable waterway system that our country has, and it moves flow. There's flows of commodities across our country that's moving by barge on this inland waterway interstate. Basically, it's fuel efficient, it's environmentally friendly, it's reducing the wear and tear on our interstate. I mean, you're talking hundreds of thousands of trucks of commodity moving into our area that didn't have to come on by the road, by the interstate. It was moved by waterway transportation. We got that right here, connectivity to the world.
Eric, one last question. I know you got to go. Were you surprised that this strike ended so quickly, kind of abruptly? It was like, okay, we have a deal.
Yeah,
a lot of us were kind of bracing for, this is going to go through the election.
Yeah, it was brace for impact. But the answer to your question is yes. I'm very surprised. But again, that automation thing, watch that one. The salary one was fixable. I mean, the Maritime Alliance realized what they were going up against. And frankly, the pay one, it's easier than this automation one. That's the one to watch.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you joining us. Have a great event today.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Eric. Eric England, Executive Port Director with Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
Most tax pros leave a message.
It's Jane. I'm moving on to a TurboTax expert who beat your price. Adam Devine, tell him how I feel.
Hey, tax pro, she's been thinking twice. Best believe TurboTax will beat your price. This is a tax break.
Switch to a TurboTax Live expert and we'll beat what you paid your pro last tax season. Make the switch at TurboTax.com/beatyourprice. TurboTax full service only. Sign up by 12/20/2024 and file by 4/1/2025. Full details at TurboTax.com/beatyourprice.
Back to the show with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Only on BritBox. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
Explain to me, I can't even say this. El Dia de los Muertos.
El Dia de los Muertos.
What's that mean?
Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead. Okay. Chica's in studio with us.
Bueno.
Big day.
Are you trying to go? I thought it was me.
No, they didn't.
Topo Shisho.
The Rebel is hosting El Dia de los Muertos. I sounded just like her,
Please
didn't I?
do not ever say it. El Dia de los Muertos.
Muertos. Like I said, El Dia de los Muertos.
Muertos.
Oh, boy, she's going to kill me.
On behalf of the Mexican community, I'd like to say you are not welcome to the carne asada.
What's this do? We're partying, celebrating dead people? What is this?
Yeah. You never seen the movie Coco?
No.
Disney Coco?
No.
Okay, so basically, one thing Mexicans know how to do, the one thing the Latin culture knows how to do, besides eat, we know how to party. All right?
Oh, I'm down. Yeah.
So I say we, the Hispanic Alliance and 318 Latino and all these people, they all collaborated with Red River Revel to basically do El Dia de los Muertos, but do it big. Normally, El Dia de los Muertos is right around Halloween, right? So it kind of, it's October.
Sure.
Yeah, it kind of correlates and all that.
People like me would get it, yeah.
Yeah, it's just fun. I mean, did you see have you guys been yet?
No. Mike has, yeah.
Bro,
what?
You know what I did last night?
Wait, I wasn't listening.
What? You been to the Rebel?
Yeah.
We went Saturday night to go hear Jefferson Starship. It was awesome.
Did you get on the pedicabs? Did you see those?
I didn't. There's pedicabs.
I did see them, but they're like electric or whatever. The guys don't even have to really pedal.
Okay, don't ruin it for me.
Oh, sorry. Oh, did I ruin it?
In my mind, this guy was able to take me all the way up that hill by himself. I rode in a pedicab last night because he goes, hey, he called himself Frito Bandito.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no. Now, see, if I said that, I'd get.
Oh, no, this one looked like Pablo Escobar, though.
Oh,
I kind of was nervous, but I was excited at the same time.
I'll be worried to get in a pedicab. We're going to go backwards.
Oh, no, that's what I thought. And I thought, you know what? If this is his will, he wants to work out. Mm-hmm. And he looked at a chubby girl and said, let me give you a ride. You know what? We all must die sometime.
Yeah.
So I thought if this is his day, this is his day.
And it's electric.
Yeah, it's electric.
Oh,
it's fun.
so cool.
So if you go to Dia de los Muertos, I definitely want you to get in on that.
Okay. Do you tip the pedicab guy $5?
I did pay him $10.
$10. Okay.
Is it just on all tips? Is that how they work? Or?
No, I think it's like $7.50 and then $2.50 a rider.
Okay, gotcha.
So wait, $7.50 just to get in it, and then $2.50 a rider. Mm-hmm. So that's another $5. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and that's almost $13. I did because I went to Northwood.
Where the N
stands for knowledge.
Yeah, that's my new favorite thing. I'm telling you, Red River Revel is so much fun.
Wait, and then you tipped another 10?
Heck no, I didn't tip him. I gave him a 10.
Are we dressing up?
Oh, okay.
Are we dressing up for El Dia de los Muertos?
Yes.
We are.
When you talk like that, you must show up dressed up. Do your face all skeleton-like.
Okay.
Okay. And no, I'm kidding. It's just a lot of fun. It's Red River Revel did that paint your partner thing last night, where I saw people of all kinds. Like there were actually people there. There was like an artist, and then I looked at this guy, and he looked so helpless. And I looked at him and said, "You could just give her a stick figure with boobs." And he started laughing so hard because that's what he did.
Oh my gosh!
Like,
wow.
We're going tonight, by the way. We're going tonight.
I'm telling you,
I still have $30 on my wristband.
Your little wristband.
Yeah.
And we got week passes.
Get the spam fries. Get the spam fries from Cajun Asian.
I love spam.
Yes.
All
Don't
right.
be yucking our yum.
Have to try it out.
El Dia de los Muertos.
That's
Stop
it.
saying
Muertos.
that.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.